Hello again. It's me, your host, Amateur Overlord. I'm so glad that you tuned in again today. The topic that I'm going to discuss today, as you can see on the title, is anger. Now, um, for those of you that don't know me, for a significant portion of my life, I was a very angry individual. Now, anger is an interesting topic, and got my notebook here. Um, it's nothing. I'm not gonna read directly from it, but I did write some of the pros and cons because to be angry can be both beneficial and detrimental. Um, when I was reading a book by the Dalai Lama, it was his autobiography. Great book if you have a chance and you want a great book to just read, let's say on the train or when you have some free time. I'm gonna find it at some point, maybe in the next vlog. I'll be holding it up so you can see what the book's called. But the Dalai Lama, he talks about anger, and he likens anger to lightning, the energy that comes from lightning, as opposed to the energy or the electricity, better yet, that powers your home. Now, they're both electricity. Lightning's electricity, as you know, and the electricity comes into your home and powers your lights, your computers, your every electrical appliance in your house. Same thing. However, he talks about anger as being more so the chaotic side of it. So it's the power, but it's the power with the chaos. And a lot of times when we're angry, it's so that we can feel strong in a situation where we're actually weak. Like a lot of people that display anger and even get physically, violent, it's because they feel weak. And the only way they can feel strong in their weakness is to act out or act upon that anger. And there are pros and cons to anger. Some of the pros of being angry, because being angry is not always a bad thing. Some of the pros, it can motivate you by feeling incensed, like you come across something that is just clearly unjust and you're infused with anger, like righteous anger, and you have to do something, you have to act. That should always be tempered with good judgment. Like you just don't want to fly off the handle, because you can make yourself wrong when you're right sometimes by the way you conduct yourself. Sometimes you become angry when you realize you've been deceived, and you get mad because you're like, wow, how did they catch me slipping like that? How did they trick me? I'm smarter than this. And that's another type of anger too. But there's also cons of losing. There's also cons. There's also cons of, as regards anger, the loss of control. That's what we talk about, the lightning as opposed to the electricity. Once you lose control, you are literally not in command of yourself, of your faculties, of your actions sometimes even. A great many people have ended up in jail, the hospital, hurt someone they care about because they've lost control. They stop being centered, they stop being focused, and they've hurt people that they cared about and themselves, again, to their detriment, because they might lose their liberty. They end up in jail. They lose someone they care about for good. These are things that can be avoided if you focus on what it is that makes you angry. And the root of all anger is fear. The reason I was very angry as a younger person is because I had a great many fears, and I still have many fears. I haven't conquered my fears. That is an undertaking that will continue throughout my life. But I am addressing them, and I think that's where the healing starts, if you want to call it healing. Now, as regards myself again, this is actually harder than I thought it would be to just say exactly what. For me, when I get angry, it's usually because I feel victimized. If I feel that someone's taking advantage of me, and I feel like they're cutting down my options or removing my choices or taking away my right to decide for myself about something. Or sometimes it's petty and I'm just in traffic and I think the guy is driving like a D-bag, and I fly off the handle a little bit. Like, I'm not my best self. If you come across me in traffic, like and I haven't eaten or something, I will probably not be my best self. And I'll apologize right now because that's not me. And no amount of Snickers is gonna fix that. So yeah, I'll say that. But it all stems from fear. There were times past where And I think this ties into the stoicism that is required of men in society, or has been required of men. Society's changing, as we know. In times past, men needed to be stoic. And stoicism is an outlook on life that is very, like, even the word sounds, it's very strong, very cold, very calculating, very logical. Some of the great writers were Stoics. Like, one of my favorite Stoic writers is Marcus Aurelius, who was a Roman emperor. He wrote a great book called Meditations. I have it. I have it over there. In fact, just to prove that I have it, because I say, I read all these books, and you're probably thinking, yeah, he don't read nothing. He can't read. Give me just 2 seconds. I'm coming right back. All right. So here it is. This is Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. If you want to go to a movie reference, he's briefly referenced in the movie The Gladiator with Russell Crowe and what's his name, Phoenix. The guy, anyway, it's not important. But one of the great Stoic writers, and I could literally flip to any page in this book and probably find something that you would find useful as regards Stoicism. Like, this is just a random quote. This is on page 88. It says, yeah. Sorry, page 76 we've decided to flip to instead. Fit for yourself for the matters which you have fallen to your lot, and love these people among whom destiny has cast you, but your love must be genuine. So I'll say that again because that sounded a bit convoluted in the way I read it. Fit for yourself for the matters which you have fallen to your lot. Fit for yourself for the matters which have fallen to your lot, and love those people whom destiny has cast you, but your love must be genuine. And I think I've read this before, but what I take this to mean, it says basically deal with the situation you've been dealt with, you know, whatever situation you find yourself, whether you've fallen into, you deal with it. And it's telling you to love the people who for whatever reason are a part of your life, but you have to love them honestly, genuinely. Like, your love has to mean something. It can't be no fake love. It has to actually mean something. That's an interesting thing for a Stoic to say, because a Stoic outlook on life isn't always that deeply emotional, but that's an emotional comment, and I like that. But yeah, back to dealing with our anger. I find that also anger is as a result of frustration. When I'm extremely frustrated, I get angry. And as a man, we were often taught that we suppress our emotions. So a lot of men, their default emotion, because we all have emotions, so suppressing them is a bit ridiculous. Our default emotion is anger. We default to anger. A lot of family members, that I'm close to, that's something I've noticed. We all kind of default to anger, and again, it's so that you can feel powerful when you're weak. When in actuality, there might be a great deal that you could get from addressing weakness. Sometimes when you address your weakness, you get the assistance, you get the empathy, the compassion that you really needed, as opposed to getting everyone to leave you alone by flashing and expressing how upset you are. Sometimes you say, you know what, this really hurts me. Like, I'm really disappointed. I'm really frustrated. I feel really victimized by this. And depending on the quality of individuals you have around you, you might receive that assistance that you really need, as opposed to, again, just putting up that wall. So it's just something to consider, something that I've thought about. I had hoped today to have at least 1 or 2 guests on the show. A lot of them reneged at the last second. Now, some of them, obviously people have stuff to do. I've got a lot of free time, as you can see, and I use that free time to talk to you guys out there. And the reason I literally do this is because I do have a genuine love of people. I want people to be happy. I want to spread information, dispel ignorance, show empathy and compassion where I can. And that is why I make these things. And like I said, we got some great topics coming up, and there will be guests as and when I can get them to show up. So again, I thank you for tuning in today. I have been your host, Amateur Overlord, and we're going to stop today on exactly 10 minutes.